I've done a lot of interviews over the last few years, and all of my interviews are full of juicy tidbits. But I wanted to start calling out some of them and kind of giving you chunks of interviews that you might have missed. And today I'm starting with an interview with Michael Zindell. Michael Zindell is one of my favorite people in this industry. His day job is as a product designer. He's the VP of product design at a very, very prolific home decor and gift company. And he makes designs so many products each day in his day job. And then he also licenses his work for greeting cards and fabrics and other products. So he is a super busy guy and also a super knowledgeable guy. And in our interview, we talked about a lot of things, but one of the things I focused on was because his day job is as an art director, he designs and manages a team of artists. I asked him about what a new surface pattern designer who was looking to connect with an art director could do to make an impression, or what he looks for in people that he might partner with or has partnered with in the past as far as freelancers and when he hires new designers. And he gave lots of insight, but today we're focusing on things that are important to a portfolio. And this is for a product design company. This is for his experience. It's sort of more based on freelancing rather than licensing. And you'll hear him talk about some of the reasons that it's a little bit different when we think about licensing and we think about freelance. And as you know, I'm a huge fan of freelance. It can be a huge part of, it is a huge part of my income. My art income is primarily freelance. I don't make a lot of money from licensing. So if it's something you've been interested in and you're curious, Michael lays out some of the ways that your portfolio needs to shine to connect with art directors in a freelance capacity.
I wanted to start with talking about portfolios, and what are some of the things that you look for if you were hiring a freelancer right now, which I know you're not, but is there anything that you might see in a designer's portfolio that would be a clear sign they weren't a good fit, or they weren't skilled enough? How important, what are you looking for when you're getting an email with someone saying, like, I want to work for you?
It's very difficult for an art director to sit through, I'll use web design as an example again, or say catalog work, and try to figure out what that person would do when sitting in a seat designing product for sale, because there's no way that work,
yeah, exactly.
as talented or technical as you could have everything under your belt, grade A, superstar in that world, it just doesn't translate. So I'd say number one, like, you have to have a portfolio that is applicable to the job. Even if that means you have to make it on the fly, like the week leading up, you have to do the legwork, the legwork. Because it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means I'm not interested in your catalog or your, whatever it is you do. I want to see, applicable work. Yeah. And that's not to say that illustration and things that sort of bridge that gap aren't applicable. They totally are. I'm just talking about like far-flung, differences.
Yeah, 100%.
I also, I think I mentioned to you, it's really odd, like, being part of this sort of Instagram surface pattern community, because the mindset that I sometimes run into is a little bit contrary to what I find reality to be, which is, or my reality to be, not reality as a whole, which is, when you work in licensing and you talk to licensors and licensees, it's all about consistency, right? Like, they want you to have a branded look. They want you, well, at least for that level of licensing, right? They want you to have a name and a look and a style, and they want to know that when they come to you for Christmas, it looks just like what you did for fall, and the hand is identical.
Yeah. And I think that is a certain level of licensing. Yes. Like, if you're a big name licensor, like, they want that look. And I see that someone actually asked that exact question. So I know you're getting to it. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but she said, do you like to see a signature style or versatility? And so, yeah, for licensing, sometimes if you're a big name, it's like, we want to see your look.
Right.
But
For
where
product
are you at?
design, no. I appreciate it, and that's perfect. Like, I wouldn't say don't show it. It's lovely to see that people have multifaceted sides to them and maybe even do things, they run something on the side as a freelance business, or they're a book illustrator. Like, all that is perfectly great to see and even applicable. But when it comes to only being able to do one style, that's where it starts to fall apart because and for the sake of the audience, I'll say, like, what an average day in product design is not slow. It's fast paced. It's not
Yes.
always 100% like being a licensed perfectionist art. Like, lettering doesn't have to be hand lettered. The art doesn't have to be non-reproducible. Like, you can always find shortcuts to things. And I think seeing that in a designer, problem solving, not just I can do, let me draw it better, let me paint it better, let me whatever it better, but problem solving, how we can like get to the end game, that is really good to see. Because, for most product companies and pretty much anyone who makes product anywhere in any category, regardless of whether it's home or housewares, whether it's clothing or gift wrap or cards, whatever, seasonal. You have to have seasonal. It shows that, you're able to work within constraints, because how many ways can you reinvent Black, Orange, Halloween, right? Like, how many ways can you do a sugar skull? Like, everything is always being reinvented, and there's never going to be a blank spot for that. There's always going to be harvest. There's always going to be Christmas. There's always going to be Halloween. And the minor
Even
holidays.
COVID can't cancel Christmas. We got to keep going.
Like, I would say, like, depending on the company, focus less on the minor holidays like Valentine's and St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Americana is a big one. Every day looks like florals and light home decor. Like, we call it carpet friendly. So, like, things that aren't wild and obtuse, but like actually would fit into the average sort of like beige and grayscale home. I think that a lot of times there's a lot of designers who do play with sentiments, or sometimes people call it editorial, but like coming up with a saying and then developing a look around the saying, like not just hand lettered words, but like what do those words inspire? And I would say the final thing is collections. So that doesn't need to be like 50 things, but when we meet with a customer, you're talking about retail and an end cap. So like a 4-foot section, it might have 10 items, it might have 20 items. But if you could take like a page and say, like, here's an idea I had for Christmas, and everything plays well together, but isn't like the same polar bear on everything, but you have like a color palette established and the polar bear is on this and that's your hero shot. And you have a sentiment that ties in, like, just on like maybe a field of blue over here.
And whatever,
yeah, like the same way that you would develop a fabric collection where you have like your hero, your coordinate. Do the same thing with product and show that, like, if someone gives you a brief, you can make so many different layers out of that brief, and it's not about like bam, 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 bam. Like, you're really thinking it through and showing that, like, I can tell you a story, and I can also make that story something that evokes emotion in the person that wants them to put it on their shelf. I think
are you guys
like,
writing this down out in internet world? Are you guys writing this down? Who's taking notes? These are gems, people, gems.
Some really great tips from Michael Zindell, but be sure to check out the full interview. I'll have the link in the description, or at the end of this video, you'll be able to click right through, because it is really packed with valuable advice. Head to elizabethsilver.com/learn if you want more straightforward support with surface pattern design and creative business. Learn all about how to create successful licensing collections, how to build your surface pattern design business, how to quickly get a pitch out to a potential client, or how to use Adobe Bridge. And be sure to check out some targeted help I have with portfolios and my free workshop ready for surface pattern clients. There's a lot to see at elizabethsilver.com/learn.